used to or didn't used to for past habit. So we use the phrase, yeah, used to, and we use didn't used to talk about past habit. Past, as you already know from the past tense when I was explaining to you, that it is a time which is gone. We are talking about an action which is finished, complete in past tense. But this used to and didn't used to, we use these phrases to talk about some habits or some repeated actions that we did in the past, but we don't do them anymore today. Okay? We used to do them in the past, but not today anymore. For example, you are not a child anymore, so you don't go to school. You used to go to school in the past, but today you don't go to school anymore. You go to university. But obviously, due to the COVID-19 situation, you don't go to university yet, right? So you can say, I used to go to university before COVID-19. Now I don't go to. So used to refers to habits. Habits are things that you do every day or repeatedly. So I'm going to explain this more in the following slides. Slide number 2, as you can see, I'm trying to explain here how we use used to and didn't used to. How we use. So if you notice, we use used to and didn't used to with the infinitive verb. Infinitive verbs are actually the first form of the verb. For example, eat. For example, play. Okay, I hope you will remember from the verb forms we practiced the other day. So eat is the first form and play is the first form, and even let's say go is the first form. You see, so infinitives, they refer to these types of verb, the first form of the verb, and they don't have s or they don't have es and they don't have ed at the end. Okay, so used to, didn't used to with infinitive verbs. And what do we do for some time that happened regularly in the past but no longer? So we are talking about actions that used to happen in the past, but now it doesn't happen anymore. Okay, today the situation is different. And for example, if you see here, I used to go to school every day. If I talk about myself, I used to go to school every day when I was a child, and I'm not a child anymore. See, I've grown and now I'm a man. So if you see here, I didn't used to go to office. Look here, this picture. I was a child in the past, so I didn't used to go to school. But you see, I'm a man, so I can say I used to go to school every day when I was a child. So you see, used to and didn't used to, these are used for actions that we did in the past regularly. Okay, and today we don't do it. Finished, we have changed, the situation has changed, so we don't repeat them, we don't do it anymore. Okay, you have questions, please write your questions in the text box and I'll try to answer those questions. I will move to the next slide now. Now, for past habits and repeated actions, we use used to and didn't used to. What I was trying to say, what we do when we use used to and didn't used to. And we need a verb that has to be first form of the verb. There has to be first form of the verb. For example, look at this verb go, look at this verb play, and the verb work. So after used to, we use the first form of the verb, even though we are talking about actions which happened in the past. Remember, in past tense, we use the verbs which are second form, let's say ed form. But in habits, when we talk about habits in the past or actions that we did in the past repeatedly, we use used to with the first form of the verb. Okay, so I used to go to school every day. I used to play football. I didn't used to work in office. So you notice these things I did in the past every day and every time, but today I'm not doing them anymore. But over. Okay, this is what we do with used to and didn't used to. Now, look again. We also speak about past situations or states. States are like, you see, when I say how are you, the word are, the word is, the word am, these are about the states. They don't refer to any action, only refer to your being and how you are and who you are, something like this. So what you do is we talk about situations and states in the past. For example, used to, didn't used to with the first form of the verb. So I used to be a student. See, the word be is a be verb, and we use be verb for states. And we also use be verbs like is, like am, alright, and like are. So these are the be verbs in present simple, and you see in habits, when you talk about actions in the past or situations in the past, you use used to and be. You don't say used to am or used to be, used to are or used to is. It has to be. I used to be a student. I used to be a young boy. I didn't used to be an officer. Do you see? I'm talking about who I was in the past. I used to be a student. Today I'm a teacher, so my situation has changed. I used to be a young boy, and that was in the past. But today I'm not a young boy anymore. I'm a man, I'm a grown-up man, you see? So the situation has changed. So we talk about situations in the past using used to and didn't used to. You can also see here, I didn't used to be an officer. So you can also write in negative about the past situation. So when you write a negative in past situation, look what happens. I didn't used to be an officer. So this officer is now, and in the past I was this. You see? So I didn't used to be him. I used to be this student. So you can talk about situations in the past and the states in the past using used to and didn't use. Right? Now I have to tell you one thing. When you write used to and didn't used to, I hope you have noticed this. I'm sure you have. If you haven't, I'm going to show you. Notice this D here. This is past, right? And didn't is already in the past, so that's why we don't use D here. Okay? We use in positive, we use D. In negative, we don't use D. Here, we didn't use. No D is here. But this is positive, so that's why D is here. What you have to remember, when you write a negative sentence, there shouldn't be any D here. But when you write a positive, D is necessary. And after used to, you must use the infinitive verb or the be form of the verb, right? If you use the be form of the verb, you are talking about states. If you use infinitive verbs, you are talking about situations or habits or actions. Okay? For example, if you say play, that's an infinitive verb and it's an action verb. But if you say be, you are not talking about any actions, you are talking about a state. Alright? We're talking about is, am, and are, this kind of states. Now let's move to the next slide, and as I was telling you, we express our habits and our actions that we have been doing in the past regularly with the help of used to. We also express some things that were true over a period of time in the past. So some of the things that you did in the past, obviously, they were true. So when you talk about some things that were true for a short period of time in the past or a long period of time in the past, but today you don't do it anymore. You see, then you use used to talk about it, right? So what was true in the past is not true today, right? Today you are not the same person, you are not doing the same things anymore. So that's why whatever was true in the past, you write it with used to and didn't used to, and what's not true today, you have to add any more and any longer. So you how you add this and really if you write two sentences together, then you in the next slide. Now, how do we use any more or any longer? These are used in present simple. These are used in present simple. Any longer and any more, we use them in present simple tense or present simple sentences. This is a contrast to used to. Contrast means different. This is not the same, right? This is different. So we are trying to show how my past is different from present. When you want to show your past is different from present, you use any more and any longer. Any of them, the present simple tense after the past simple sentence. So I'll show you the example here. Now look, I used to go to school. That is in the past. You see? Look at the picture here. I used to go to school. That was my past. But, see, we are talking about contrast. But is something that talks about contrast, that talks about difference. So, past, and this is present. I don't anymore. You don't have to write I don't go anymore. I don't anymore is enough because it's the same sentence, separated with the conjunction but. I used to go to school. This is what I did in the past. Today I don't. I don't anymore. And this is my present. I'm staying home. I'm doing a lesson right now with you. So it's a different situation for me. So when you show a difference between past and present, you use the past tense, and in the present tense you use any more or any longer. I used to play football. Look at this picture here, football, but I don't anymore. You look at this. I did chess today. I don't play football. So, in the past, I played football every day or for a short time, but today I don't play football. I play something else. When you talk about, as I'm saying again and again, when you talk about a contrast or a difference between past actions and the present actions, used to or didn't use to with any more and any longer.